Hey YouTube, Dawson Rider here with a review of Deluxe Dodekai-Oh from Dobutsu Sentai Zyuohger. This should be our last mech of the series, and it is the quote-unquote large mech of the series, meaning, well, it's the largest mech of the series, and usually the most expensive. So anyway, as per usual, we will be taking a very quick look at the box before we get into anything, because that's the most exciting part, and then we need to get it out of here because we're going to need all the space. So as you can see, we just have a nice shot of the mecha there on the front, sort of shows you a sampling of what it can do, and all that jazz. And then on the top here, there's a nice shot of Zyuoh Whale and stuff like that. And on the side here, it continues to show you what you can do with it, a bit on how it transforms. On the back, it shows the ultimate combo, or sort of ultimate combo, of most of all of the mecha, but we'll get into that shortly. And on the side here, it advertises that yet again, showing that it can combine with the rest of the line. And another cool shot of Whale down there, as well as something I'm actually not going to be showing off physically in this review, but you can do this other little stubbier formation, as you can see, with just like 4 legs for the cubes. So yes, that is a thing. Alright, so now we're just going to go ahead and lift this out of here and get the actual thing in. We have it. This is its cube mode. It's pretty obvious with the kibble, you know, because you have these flaps on the side, these things sticking out. You can put your hand straight through here. But I have to at least give it to it for at least trying to have a cube mode, unlike Rhino, which I think is the only one that doesn't have a cube mode. So I'm going to give it props for that, for at least attempting to have a cube mode. But this is basically just... honestly, this is what it looks like if you were to take your Megazord and put it in one of those, like, cube crushy car machines. So that's a thing. So in this mode, it bees cube, which is clearly the most important function. But as for everything else, I mean this, it comes with this little harpoon slash, like, whale water projectile tool right here, and this little piece is separate because it's going to be part of the helmet, and you just attach it back on there for this mode. And it is important for this because it activates the transformation for both into Whale and into Mecha mode. It is sort of an insta transformation. We'll see if it works. I mean, it works, but it doesn't always snap perfectly. But basically, I'm going to be sliding it in here and just make sure that this like button here lines up going where you saw it, and just snap it in. And if all goes well, then this should flap into Whale mode when you press down. There you go. As you saw, the two parts of the fin smack together. They almost never, for me, actually snap together like that. You know, I have to do it myself, so I'm sure there's somewhere someone who's had it has had that happened. But anyway, this is it in Whale mode. As you can see, very simplistic. Just like the rest of the line, it maintains that despite being a larger version, and which is something I like about that line. I like that sort of fun and quick transformation, instant gratification type thing. Honestly, this one specifically also reminds me a lot of having a hard time remembering the name of the specific class, but the Transformers class that are like the little small, like instant transform figures. They're like just really small. Just say the word small, that'll help. But you know, they're like little in the car mode or vehicle mode or whatever, and you'll like press a button or hit it against something and it'll spring into its robot mode. And that's kind of what this is like. But honestly, I do like the design of Whale. He's just kind of like an adorable like buddy to carry around, and I don't know, just on its own, definitely one of my favorite modes for it. I just kind of dig it. Something you can do in this mode is zoom your camera out. But there's a little button right here. When you press it, it will activate this thing's extremely overtly sort of, you know, action, and that will fall off. But you can do that, which I guess is kind of cool, and that sort of demonstrated that that comes off, so thank you for that. Okay, so now to get it into its mecha mode, it is very, very simple. It's actually honestly channeling Hyper Reshateo a little bit, because basically we're just going to stand him up. There we go. That looks, yep. We're on to something now. So then, let's just get a little bit of a tighter shot here. Okay, so it's very simple. All you're going to do is turn this. Boom. You're basically done. The only other thing you have to do is yank this up. Probably just going to, oops, sorry about that. There we go. Oh. There we go. That was a little bit of a fumble there. And then just pull this out. And there is 2 little peg holes here, 2 pegs here, and then just attach it right here. If you cannot be an idiot. I'm trying not to knock the camera over while I'm doing it. There we go. And there you basically have it. Honestly, that was very, very simple, as you could see. And this is going to be a weird one to talk about. Just because usually when you get to this mecha, I always talk about how, okay, this is the brick for this year. But this whole line has been bricks. that's a problem for a lot of people, but I personally think that even though they always do look more slender in the show, that things like, you know, Zyuoh Wild and the main mecha, Zyuoh King and stuff, still look fine to me the way they are. And this one's not terrible or anything, but it definitely stands out the most. In person, it doesn't look quite as bad, and I don't want to make it seem like I thought it was terrible or anything, but it's definitely blocky, you know, as per usual. For sure. And in fact, when I first saw this, like in the original toy scans, I wasn't too huge of a fan, to be honest. I was like, oh, that's way too much. It looked like it all kind of blended together. And like I just said, it definitely comes off a little bit better in person. But once you see it in the show, I actually quite like the suit in show, for sure. And you almost always have that with especially the last mecha. So that's kind of a thing. But like I said, it's just not quite as bad as I thought. But yeah, it's definitely the blockier one. And like I said, I know it's just kind of weird to say that because I personally am a huge fan of this line, and I'm not really that mad at how much of the other ones look. I think the Zyuoh the World's mech has that weird like flat face, which is kind of weird. And this one definitely has that bulky bit. But you can, you know, activate its little pump action here. So that's a thing. So, yeah. But, yeah, I'm only bringing that up that it's weird is because I feel like people are going to say, well, why are you getting on this one for being blocky and then, you know, not attacking the others? But it's a hard thing to say because it's all supposed to be blocky, but this one's always blocky, and it's just a block fest, really. But, yeah. But what I do like about this is I really do like the fun and simple transformation, like I just said. The whale one's super simple, and I just kind of like how just kind of fun and mechanical it feels to, you know, slide the harpoon in there like a key and it opens up the whale mode, and then you just turn it upright and then turn it like a key and it opens up the mecha mode for you. I just think that's pretty cool. That's probably my favorite thing about it. I really dig that. It really captures the spirit of the line. Okay, now we are going to get on to the big combo mode. So, we are going to need a Big Mac and a Whopper. No, I'm just kidding. But this will be slightly involved, so just take a second. I've already taken the liberty of getting a few things ready, just because if you're familiar with the line, you pretty much know how to do it. It's very basic. But what we're going to do for him is we're going to take this piece off, set it aside, and then take these two bits off. You're not going to need these. Well, you're going to need these for the transformation, but I mean, for this mode, you're not going to need it. Take that. You're basically going to switch him back into his cube mode, more or less. We'll just do that just because it's easier for me to think about it. So you do that, switch it into its cube mode basically, and then just take these two flaps and fold them out, like so. And then you're going to make sure that this piece right in the back here is folded out. Make sure you don't knock it off when you set it down. And then fold these down. Whoops, not up, down. Fold these down. Can't even do that right. Classic me. So yeah, that's pretty much ready for him. Very, very simple. We're just going to sort of gingerly set him down there for a second. Now, for the rest of it, it's pretty simple. You're basically just going to be stacking the cubes to make the legs. I'm not kidding. So here we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's how you assemble it. You just count. If you can count, you got this. Don't even worry about it. I mean, I know I probably had problems. Okay, now take these and you slide it through just like you would when you're making like a Zyuoh King or something. That's very important. You can attach these legs without these pieces, but it's going to be wobbly as all hell. So definitely make sure you get these pieces attached in for sure. So that's going to make sure it's stable and so that you don't go to stand him up and then he just falls completely over. So this might take a second. I'm going to place this on top of here. It's going to be kind of hard to get it all on frame at times, so I apologize for that. And so, yeah, just snap these on. This is like, I know this looks ridiculous, but this is a thing. It's happening. We have to go with it. Okay, so okay, we got that refixed. Like I said, it does make it more stable, but you're still going to have a bit of trouble sometimes. As you can see, this guy is very tall. So the next bit we're going to do, actually since he's facing forward, is take your cube animal weapons, and here's Bat, and basically just fold them up like this, and there's going to be two corresponding peg holes that go on the side right here. You'll see how they line up. One of them is sort of the traditional little clips, and the other one's a little square piece. Same goes for this one right here. In fact, we'll take a look at it. There you can see, you got the traditional little clippy and the square piece. Just make sure it lines up to the correct spot on the side and you'll be golden. Just like that. Okay, now for the other side. Take Cube Kuma and just, again, fold them up. and just make sure that the correct, well, it's like a puzzle, really. Make sure the girls are going in there. That is warm. The review light is on that, and it is warm. I'm worried it's going to melt now. And then just take good old Dromodramon, same thing. All you have to do is keep him in his animal mode. If you guys are mad, like, let me know that I just went ahead and did the prep for these, and I'll know for the future. But it's so simple for these guys in particular that I didn't want to waste your time, considering if you're familiar with the line, heck, if you're not even familiar with the line, I could probably sit you down with these, and you could get it accomplished. Okay. So now we have one last big piece to do in the back, but just a quick note, take this piece off, this little front piece. There you go. Now we're going to turn him around and try not to knock any pieces off. So remember how we pulled that flap down? This is where part of Rhino is going to go. Now where did it go? This is where Rhino's going to go. Where's Rhino? Oh, there it is. Okay. Okay, you guys couldn't see what I was doing there, but I'm going to take this and make sure this piece is facing outwards so you can see it. And then just slide it here, and snap, boom, and then when we carefully turn him around, you'll be able to see the number 9 right underneath 10, so it sort of goes up in number. Okay, now, we are going to have to go up pretty high for this. We are climbing. So right in here, there is a little actual helmet piece, and you just get your finger there and swing it around, and you're going to plop it out. And then this little piece is going to go here. I'm actually probably going to lift the camera up in a minute so you can get a better look at that. But that's how that goes. You can't really see it very well right now. And then all you do is take this and put it on top of one of these fists. And there you have it. What is it? Wild Tosai Dodeka King. It takes me forever to learn the names, guys. And at the point of this recording, they haven't even used it in the show. But there you have it. I'm going to sort of stand up here. It is definitely impressive on the scale level. And just seeing all these blocks, it's kind of ridiculous looking for sure, having all these blocks stacked together, but at the same time it's kind of cool. I really, really dig the design they have going on here of all the different animals. I think that's neat. There's a better look at blurriness at the helmet. But yeah, I have very mixed feelings on this. Whenever you get any mecha like this at all, of this scale after collecting all year, it always is a bit impressive. Like, dang, look at all this I've accomplished and all this money I've wasted, and it does kind of look impressive on the shelf as a larger scale thing made up of a bunch of robots. But in the show, this design actually looks pretty cool. Just like with Whale, the show one almost always looks better, and it very specifically is like that with Dodekai-Oh and with this, because I've seen, you know, the magazine scans, and it definitely looks better in the show. Here, honestly, it doesn't look terrible. My only real complaint about how it looks is how dinky the arms look. It looks like he skipped arm day, which usually you hear about people skipping leg day. So he's got this sort of really tall body, and it's bulky, and then he's got these tiny little arms. That's the only thing that bothers me about the toy design. Now, the thing that really bothers me about this is, here we go. You ready? This right here is the graveyard. This is what we have left over. The rest of the hunk of Rhino, Rhino's little horn / helmet for Tosai, the cannon from the gorilla, and then the sword piece / helmet from King. Now, this isn't that huge of a deal for a lot of people. In fact, these pieces here, I wouldn't be quite as mad, but this is like a leftover thing, and it only bothers me because I've talked about this numerous times in reviews before, but I like being able to combine basically everything I've gotten. It makes it so much easier for storage, it makes you feel a little bit more accomplished as a collector in some stupid way, and like if I want to display it like this, I hate that I have to find a random place for just basically carcass parts. And this reminds me a lot of ToQger. They were really close. They had every single mecha that combined into one, sans like the movie stuff. Same thing for here with Condor. But they all combined into one cool robot, and then you get the final one, and you rip their heads off, and you stick it on it, and it's technically everything, but then you're left with the carcass field. And that's what I feel like here. Not quite as bad as ToQger, for sure, in terms of leaving over all these extra parts, but it's still very disappointing because of how close they got. And I really wish they could have found a way to work it out, to be honest. But anyway, overall, as far as Dodekai-Oh goes, he's a solid mecha. He's basically the classic brick of the year, regardless of the fact that the series is based on bricks. You kind of know what you're getting into. On his own, I think his transformations are very fun and simple, and I just really have a lot of fun with that. But he definitely has that brick quality. But honestly, I'm very disappointed in the final combo. I think it leaves a lot to be desired, both with leaving these leftover pieces that I think they could have tried to work out, and also with the skinny arms. So yeah, I'm left a little bit disappointed, guys. I'm sorry about that, but yeah. But anyway, that's about it. Until next time, make sure you check out the Crazy Podcast at writersrangerambles.com, and of course, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Until next time, Dawson Ryder, signing out.